I fell in love with radio before I really knew much about radio. I was probably 7 or 8 years old when I decided that this was what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be on the radio. And I was too embarrassed to tell anybody that I wanted to be on the radio. That I would be that full of myself to think that I could be a DJ on the radio. And I actually went to the library and pulled out books on broadcasting, but they were like old English books that were like 60 years old. But unlike my other friends who were hiding Playboys under their mattresses, I hid these library books under my mattress so my parents wouldn't think that I was, that full of myself. But I was on the air the first time when I was 8, and because I followed remote trucks around, and a supermarket was opening up at the corner of our street, so I hung around there and acted as cute as an 8-year-old can at lunchtime. And they finally brought me into the studio and asked me if I wanted to read a commercial. And I said, you bet. And so I read a commercial for Swiss Premium's Franks. And that was the first commercial first time I was ever on the radio. I was 8 years old. And it was at lunchtime, and I didn't quite make it back to school in time. And at that time, there was only 4 radio stations in Winnipeg. And the chances are, if my mother didn't hear it, that somebody else would have heard it and told her. So by the time I got home, I was in a bit of trouble for taking time off school to go on the radio. And I just never wanted to do anything else. Then I started to learn about radio and listen to radio a lot, and listen to a lot of announcers who influenced me a lot. And fortunately, I sang in a voice choir because I had a soprano voice. And then fortunately, about 17, my voice changed, and I had a voice that would not be awful on the radio. And so I just went full bore and did everything I could to get a job in radio.